Alright, now moving on to the hydration carrier. So this will be the Spectre hydration carrier. It's going to hold about 10 liters in terms of volume. On the outside you're going to notice that there's these two winged pockets coming out, and then you're going to have the slip clip attachment points here and here. So these wing pockets are actual zippered compartments, so you would zip that open like so. And you'll notice that there's a fairly large opening here. Again, that's for additional items, maybe your cell phone, keys, wallet, additional snacks, things like that. It's really dependent on how you want to run this system in conjunction with whatever you currently have. I know we've gotten some questions if this will work with our existing Fast series. I've tested it. It will. It's not necessarily designed for that, but it certainly will, and I will give a demonstration of how that attaches here in a little bit. Alright, so you've got those two zippered compartments on either side. They're identical. You're going to notice that there's the X-Pack's hood that kind of comes down over it. That's by design, so when it rains or you come across weather or brush or debris, it's gonna hit that hood and drape out, and it's going to protect from the elements. It's going to protect anything that you're going to put in this tweed sleeve that you see here. So you reach up under there, undo these two buckles, and you're going to notice that you have somewhat of a transporter sleeve here, and that'll hold kind of a standard climbing helmet. We've tested various different helmets in there, and it's done fairly well. So you could run anything in there from extra layers, helmets, harnesses, whatever the case may be, whatever additional tools you may need. So you can put that in there, adjust the straps so it'll compress like so. Right, so you can adjust how loose or how tight you want it to compress against whatever items you may slide in there. Okay. Now, moving into the main compartment, full zip open clamshell style. So you can see here. And again, just like with the chest rig, you're going to have that big loop Velcro panel. Again, it's the same design story. You could run the control tabs, so you could have your different loadouts, your different kits, whether it be med kits or tools, biking tools. If you're going mountain biking like that, snacks, you name it. So you can have it loaded out, and then you can quickly move gear to and from either system. You can go from the hydration rig to your chest rig, vice versa, whatever the case may be. So that's the design story there. And then you're going to notice on this side, on the padded side, and this is padded. It has that foam in there, and then of course on the back to help with breathing and quick dry, you have that 3D mesh, and the same goes for the chest rig and the harness. So this is where it actually holds your hydration system. So you would zip that open, and you'll have a nice large compartment here with a hanging tab. So you could hang your hydration system in there, suspend it from the tab, and then you'll have these ports on either side depending on where you want to run the hose. And I've already just tucked my straps in there, but so you can run it out the left or the right side. It's dependent on you. And then what you would do is you would loosen these straps or tighten those straps, and this is where you would attach it to either the pack or the harness. And again, I'll do a demonstration at the end of this video to kind of show it all working together. So you can route that, again, left or right side, depending on how you want to run that hydration. Now, of course, you don't have to run a hydration bladder in here. You can use it to separate gear. So if you've got dirty gear or dirty sandals, you go on a hike or something like that, you can keep them in this compartment and keep it away from your other gear that you may have in the main compartment. About 10 liters in terms of size, and it's going to retail for $110. In terms of weight, it weighs less than a pound. It weighs about 3/4 of a pound, about 0.75 pounds or so. Alright, so now as you can see, I still have the Spectre chest rig on, attached to the Spectre core harness, but now I am running it with the Spectre hydration rig. So as you can see, I still am running a super low profile system, but now I'm carrying 10 liters worth of equipment on the back, possibly hydration if I'm running hydration. And again, if you remember from the beginning of the video, I showed you those two ports on the back of the hydration rig. What you can do is, let's say I choose to run it, the hose from the hydration rig out that right port, I would then just route it down through the sleeve of the harness and then have it resting down here, and then of course I could use some type of web dominator or something down here to retain that hose. So it's an extremely versatile system, as you can see, and you can really adapt it to whatever your needs are. So just to kind of show you the back view there, show you the profile. So now again, I'm running a pretty slick system. So if you haven't seen the video yet, it'll be attached to the end of this broadcast. But where we show an example of how you can run the harness and the chest rig in the hydration pack, and then run that hydration pack attached to one of the packs, which I'm going to show an example of now. All right, so now I'm running a Spectre 22 liter with the hydration pack attached to the back, as you can see here, and as you would see in the video at the end of this broadcast. And just to give you an idea of how that attaches and looks, I'll go ahead and take off. So as you can see here, with the Spectre packs in particular, you have these front anchor points, and it's the same whether it be the 22, the 34, the 46, where you can attach the Spectre transporter tail or the hydration carrier. It gives you an extra, if you attach the hydration carrier, it gives you an extra 10 liters. So if you're running the 22, you now have 32. If you're running the 46, you now have 56, and so on. Okay, so if you attach it to those front anchor points, it does not hinder the ability to open the pack. I can still open the pack and access the internals here. So attaching this to the external of the Spectre pack does not hinder the opening of the pack at all. Now, if you wanted to actually use the hydration carrier as a makeshift transporter tail, you could do that. You would just simply run the attachment points around to the side webbing ladders that are around the periphery of the Spectre packs, and then you would have that additional compression coming across the sides of the packs, coming across the front here where my hand is. And then you could use that as a makeshift transporter tail if you wanted to put additional equipment in between the pack and the hydration carrier. Conversely, like I was talking about not hindering the opening of the pack, attaching the hydration carrier to a pack does not hinder the opening of the hydration carrier. So as you can see here, I can just simply run the zippers down, clamshell it open, and I can now pull out my core harness with my chest rig attached to it, or whatever additional equipment I may want to put in there. So that's just a quick example of how you can attach it to a Spectre pack. Again, I'm going to do an example of it attached to a Fastpack Lightspeed. It is not designed to necessarily work with the Fast series of packs. It will work due to the versatility of the mounting system of the hydration carrier. But I'm going to show you just a quick example of it mounted to a Lightspeed, because I know that was some of the comments and questions that we got, and then I'll kind of explain how I did that. So for those of you that are interested in running that setup, you certainly can do it that way. Okay, so I'm now wearing a Fastpack Lightspeed with the Spectre hydration carrier attached to the back. So again, that's given me about 10 extra liters, and I'm not running any equipment in this Lightspeed, so it looks pretty flat right now. But there you go, you can kind of see how that mounts there. So again, it's not specifically designed to be able to mount to the Fast series of packs, whether it be the Fastpack Lightspeed or the Fastpack EDC. To kind of show you what I've done and what will work is I've ran the top straps over the front of the Lightspeed, and it'll work for the same on the EDC, and I've attached it to the back here behind the load lifter. So it doesn't hinder any of the ability of the load lifting capability of either of the packs. You just have to mount it back there. I'm sure some of you can come up with other creative ways to do it. The issue with mounting it this way is it does hinder the opening of the Lightspeed. So if I wanted to get into the Lightspeed, I would have to detach the hydration carrier and fold it down to be able to get into the Lightspeed. For some of you that may not be an issue, and it acts as a makeshift transporter tail for the Lightspeed. So if you just wanted to get the hydration carrier and run it as a transporter tail that gives you 10 extra liters of carrying capability on your Fast series, it can certainly do that. Just know that, and again, I'm sure some of you can come up with other creative ways, but what I have found works best is running those straps over the top and then attaching it to the webbing behind the load lifters, like so. And that way you still get that compression and you still get that good carrying and hauling capability, but again, it does hinder the opening of the pack a little bit if you wanted to get into it quickly. So there